Guys, I would really love if we could go 1 week in American politics without talking about Israel. Middle East fatigue is definitely so real. So obviously we have a lot of situations that are going on right now currently. We have mobs attacking police officers. We have police officers getting killed in New York. You have mobs of people attacking white people because they're white and they hate white people. But don't worry, guys. That's technically not racism because they're white people, so we don't care if you kill them. All right, welcome to society, ladies and gentlemen. Shit's great over here. But also, you get other retards like Hamas, Diddy Bin Laden, Adolf Epstein Piker, largest leftist political streamer in the world, make some of the worst fucking tweets of all time. One phone call is all it would take to stop Israel's genocide. If Israel doesn't comply, shut off weapons transfers. If Israel looks to get weapons elsewhere, put sanctions package. And if that fails, invade Israel militarily. He wants to invade a nuclear-armed country. Right, this is the retards. We're not dying for Israel. We're not dying for Israel. We're not getting involved in wars in the Middle East. Unless you kill Jews. In which case, yes, baby, this is what we want. Kill the Jew. That's what he's saying. That's basically what he's saying. So I posted the greatest meme of all time. Don't shoot, I'm retarded. Prove it. And it's probably the greatest speeches, the greatest tweets literally in the history of time. Listen, man, pro-Russia, communist motherfucker Hasan Diddy Bin Laden Piker over here wants to invade Israel militarily. Like, what are we doing, guys? It's absolutely diabolical. But that's not the only retarded shit that happened. So this is a situation that took place in FSU. It's a Florida State University over here. We have someone over here running up to somebody and beating them up.
Fuck Israel, free Palestine, put it on fucking Barstool FSU.
Yeah, so I don't care. You could say whatever you want. Freedom of speech. Well, I love freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is based.
I really don't give a fuck. You're an ignorant fucking son of a bitch.
And then, actually attacking people and genuinely getting violent with people because, I don't know if you caught that, but he's wearing a sweater with the logo of the IDF on it. So they're just attacking these people. Now, obviously, this person ended up getting suspended for doing that because obviously you can't fucking do that shit. No, freedom of speech is not beating the shit out of people, last I checked. And of course, you have Hasan Piker who tweets this: "I just got punched for no reason," essentially endorsing beating up people that are even remotely pro-Israel. Welcome to political violence and the party of peace. The leftists, obviously, they care. They have so much empathy. Their empathy is overwhelming. So, anywho, Caroline Leavitt is doing a press briefing, talking to all of the fucking press people about all the current issues. I'm very excited to see what we actually got. Lock in, boys and girls. We're gonna see the press get absolutely cooked, I think.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have a lot of news today, and I have quite a few announcements for you.
All right,
so
let's
let's
go.
get to it. First, on behalf of the President and the White House, we express our deepest condolences to the family of New York police officer Islam, who made
tragic.
the ultimate sacrifice in defense of his fellow New Yorkers.
Tragic, man.
As the funeral services are held in New York City today, everyone at the White House is keeping the officer's family, friends, and fellow NYPD law enforcement officers in our thoughts and prayers. The President has always, and will always, proudly stand with our men and women in blue. May God bless Officer Islam and the other individuals who were tragically killed in this senseless act of violence.
Completely based. Abso-fucking-lutely based. I feel so bad for the for police, man. Like, they get such a bad rap. And of course the person that's currently running to be the mayor of New York City keeps talking about making police afraid. Like, that's a good thing. It's insane.
In other news, President Trump's working visit to Scotland was a huge success. In less than 48 hours, President Trump brokered the biggest, most impactful trade deal in history and prevented a war in Asia for the second time since he took office. We have never had a president who wields the full power of the United States to negotiate good deals for our country and its people like President Trump. This is what maximum leverage looks like. On the peace front, President Trump helped deliver an immediate and unconditional...
Oh my God, but what about our allies in Europe? They're so offended. Well, with all due respect, why don't you fuck yourself, allies in Europe? Listen, man, this is a deal, okay? Why are we doing this? This is not controversial. This is not controversial, man. Unreal. Listen, America does not owe you shit, okay? It's a deal. It's supposed to be beneficial for both of us, not for just you. Okay, oh my God, but your allies. Oh my God. Would allies emotionally blackmail me to make bad deals? I don't think so.
Ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. The two countries were engaged in a deadly conflict that had displaced more than 300,000 people until President Trump stepped in to put an end to it. The president spoke directly on the phone with the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and the Prime Minister of Cambodia to inform both leaders that unless they brought their conflict to an end, there would be no trade discussions or agreements.
Dude, the way he uses trade discussions as leverage in business deals is fucking crazy. Crazy. He ended 6 wars in 6 months. That's 1 war per month.
With the United States. Almost immediately afterward, a peace was brokered that will save thousands of lives and allowed for trade negotiations with these countries to resume, and they have. The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about 1 peace deal or ceasefire
per month
during his 6 months in office.
Insane.
It's
absolutely insane. How many did Biden stop again? Well, I mean, you know, a couple started under him, but I don't remember him stopping a single one last I checked. I don't know. Maybe it was because he was a cripple retard, a living potato that was running the country. I don't know, maybe.
Well past time that President...
Do you imagine Kamala Harris doing this? Kamala Harris would have been like, actually, we should fund both sides of every conflict to make sure that they have the funds required to feed people. And it's like, what the fuck?
Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. I know the topic of Israel is on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
I have an update from Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, who I got off the phone with this morning. Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee had a very productive meeting with Prime Minister Netanyahu and other officials today in Israel on the topic of delivering much-needed food and aid to Gaza.
Yep.
President Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart. And that's why he sent Special Envoy Witkoff to the region in an effort to save lives and end this crisis. Tomorrow, Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee will be traveling into Gaza to inspect the current distribution site and secure a plan to deliver more food and local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation.
Hell yeah. Yo, that's huge. That's big news, actually. I love that. That's fantastic.
The special envoy and the ambassador will brief the president immediately after their visit to approve a final plan for food and aid distribution into the region, and we will provide more details.
Because obviously, all the news that comes out of Gaza right now is handled by Hamas, right? Like, a lot of people don't know this because they take everything that at face value. There's something called the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, all right? The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation sounds like it's just people out there trying to keep people alive in Gaza. But the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation is run by Hamas. So you get a lot of news that, you know, it's coming from terrorists trying to propagandize people. And, you know, it works very often. In fact, the BBC, let me see if I can find this actually. The BBC, the British Broadcasting Network, actually ended up releasing that, oopsie poopsie, a lot of our articles were bad. Oh, like here's a big one. This was yesterday. This is a yesterday breaking news headline. The BBC reporters were instructed to blame Israel for Gaza hunger. Like, what are we doing, guys? Here's another one from the BBC. BBC Gaza documentary breached editorial guidelines on accuracy. You know why? By failing to disclose that the child narrator was the son of Hamas official. So this is months after they released a documentary. They decided to post on Twitter, oopsie poopsie, the documentary was kind of fake news a little bit. Like, do you understand how insane this is? Like, this is unreal, bro, how they keep doing this. All right, here's another BBC-ism. All right, here's another one. Speaking to the BBC's today, Mr. Fletcher said there are 14,000 babies that will die in the next 48 hours unless we could reach them. This did not happen, in fact. This did not, in fact, happen at all. So, again, like, for example, a lot of this information that comes out is a little bit untrustworthy.
Of you once that plan is approved and agreed on by the President of the United States. On the trade front, the President secured a historic trade agreement with the European Union.
I'm sorry, did I say the Gaza Health Foundation? I meant UNRWA is Hamas. My bad. I mixed up the health organizations. My bad.
Union that puts America first and fundamentally strengthens the economic relationship between the two largest economies in the world. This deal delivers on 2 of President Trump's core promises on trade, supercharging America's manufacturing capacity capacity and opening up foreign market access to American businesses. The deal guarantees that American businesses will have unprecedented levels of access to the European Union markets to export our American-made goods. Also, as part of this agreement, the EU will purchase $750 billion in U.S. energy.
Yes, sir! That's what we call winning! That's winning, baby!
Reduce European reliance
Make
on
America rich again!
And narrow
That's
our
what I'm
trade
talking
deficit
about.
with the EU. The EU will also make new investments of $60 billion in the United States.
By the way, a lot of people don't understand what this means. I'm gonna explain it to you in the layman's terms of layman's terms, okay? Do you know why the EU, Europe, is putting $60 billion of investment into the United States? Do you know why? Do you know why this is happening? It's because of tariffs. It's only because of tariffs. That is the only reason. Because now to import shit costs them money. So it's better for them to build shit in America instead of build shit somewhere else and then import it to America. They always needed our business, but now they can't get around it by just manufacturing it in cheaper places. They actually have to manufacture it here because otherwise they're paying the tariffs. So $60 billion of investments, that's because, oopsie poopsie, they don't want to pay tariffs. So it turns out tariffs worked.
In addition to the more than $100 billion the EU companies already invest in the U.S. every year. All of these massive purchases and investments will happen by the end of 2028.
Biz.
What we are watching is President Trump rebuilding the greatest economy in the history of the world and simultaneously proving the so-called economic experts wrong at every turn.
True! Do you remember at the beginning of Trump's term, every economic expert on the planet came out and was like, actually, you're gonna lose all your money.
Media pundits.
Oh my god, experts eating dog ass today. Pure dog poop being swallowed by the experts. Unreal! Hey guys, I am an expert. You need to take new COVID vaccines. We decided, actually. It's bad for the economy if you don't take COVID vaccines, actually.
Set a trade deal with the EU. This monumental and beneficial
Eat
to
my
America
entire
would be
ass.
impossible. But President Trump made it happen. The so-called economic experts repeatedly said that the
Oopsie.
American economy would be in a recession this summer. Well, summer is here.
Oh
it's almost
my
over,
God.
and that recession does not exist. Yesterday,
Where's the recession experts? Oh, eat more caca poo poo, you piece of shit retards. Oh, God. I love when experts are wrong. It makes me happy.
In fact, real GDP growth in the second quarter increased at a 3.0%.
But Nux, I don't understand. You have a degree in bullshitology. How the fuck did you get it right and they got it wrong? Well, I have a thing called eyes. Also, I'm always right, obviously. I mean, listen, man. As the Jew that controls the world, listen, it's inevitable that I'll always be right. Definitely subscribe if you want to watch the man in action.
Annual rate significantly above expectations. President Trump's America First policies are driving economic growth, as he always said they would. And this growth is being driven by the private sector, not the government. Federal government spending fell for a second straight quarter, while real business fixed investment rose by nearly 2% following its first quarter. President Trump is right-sizing government spending, reversing the damage done by the Biden administration, and allowing the private sector to flourish. The same so-called experts claimed that President Trump's tariffs would spike inflation and hurt American consumers. But consumer spending growth just accelerated, and inflation remains right on track. For the past 5 straight months, core inflation has come in below market expectation and remains in line with the Fed's 2% inflation target. Meanwhile, customs and tariff revenues have already totaled more than $150 billion since President Trump took office, to the first June budget surplus in nearly a decade. Oof. Those revenues will skyrocket even further starting tomorrow when new reciprocal...
Dude, end the fucking IRS, okay? Just debunk them, all right? Let other countries pay for shit, all right? I don't understand. I think that this is a huge move. End the taxes. Dude, can you imagine if America just decides to end taxes? It's like, listen, we're making enough money from other countries' tariffs. We don't actually need you. Taxes are over. Please, God, I don't want to pay taxes.
Tariff rates take effect. President Trump is restoring America's economic sovereignty by reducing our reliance on foreign countries, boosting investment in the U.S. to the tune of trillions of dollars, and creating hundreds of thousands of high-paying jobs for the American people.
Dude,
with America finally put first on trade and the largest middle-class tax cuts in history and other pro-growth provisions of the One Big Beautiful Bill beginning to take effect, the American economy will boom like never before over the course of the next 3.5 years, thanks to the president's vision. Finally, as you all know, the president signed an executive order earlier this year to solve the problem of exorbitant pharmaceutical pricing. According to recent data, the prices that Americans have been paying for brand name drugs are more than 3 times the price other similarly developed nations pay. The president is determined to solve this problem and took further action today. He has signed 17 letters to pharmaceutical companies' CEOs, and I would like to read you one of these letters to the CEO of Eli Lilly. All of these letters will be provided to you following this briefing. This is to the CEO of Eli Lilly from the President of the United States. On May 12th, 2025, I signed an executive order delivering most favored nation prescription drug pricing to American patients to stop global freeloading and guarantee that Americans pay the same prices enjoyed by other developed nations. Right now, brand name drugs in the United States are up to 3 higher on average than anywhere else for the identical medicines. This unacceptable...
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but this is very true. This is incredibly fucking true. A lot of people don't know this. That we pay more for drugs in America than people pay for it basically in any other country on the planet, actually.
Burden on hardworking American families ends with my administration. Most proposals the Trump administration has received to resolve this critical issue promise
this
more
is
of the
such a
same,
big deal,
shifting
dude.
blame and requesting policy changes
It really is such a big
that would
deal.
result in billions of dollars in handouts to industry. Moving forward, the only thing I will accept from drug manufacturers is a commitment that provides American families immediate relief from the vastly inflated drug prices and an end to the free ride of American innovation by European and other developed nations.
You have to understand something. Next time, because I'm telling you, probably the most common bullshit in my comment section, whenever I talk about America, like putting tariffs on other countries, the most common thing that I see in my comments is but there are allies. Guys, but there are allies. Why would we do this to them? Why would this happen? You realize our allies are hiking up drug prices so people in America with diabetes go broke to afford insulin, right? Like, you realize that, right? You realize other countries are taking advantage of us. That makes them shitty friends. Okay, they are the shitty friends. We are barely existing. They are the shitty friends, and we are evening the playing field. Okay, let's make this clear. All right, you have to understand a little bit of reciprocity. All right, this is how reciprocity works, baby.
I'm calling on Eli Lilly and Company and every manufacturer doing business in our great country to take the following actions within the next 60 days. Extend the most favored nation pricing to Medicaid, guarantee most favored nation pricing for newly launched drugs, return increased revenues abroad to American patients and taxpayers, provide for direct purchasing at most favored nation pricing. The president's team, including Secretary Kennedy and Administrator Oz, stand ready to implement these terms.
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
To further engage with them immediately in good faith to deliver relief for American families. Make no mistake, a collaborative effort towards achieving global pricing parity would be the most effective path for companies, the government, and American patients. But if you refuse to step up, we will deploy every tool in our arsenal to protect families from continued abusive drug pricing.
People don't know this, right? All the fucking lefties in the government, like every single one of these guys needs to not only eat crow, but they need to eat my entire ass. All right? I'm sorry. I mean this with love in my heart. Eat my entire ass, guys. For real, for real. All these guys, but what about Medicaid? Medicaid is getting cut. The poor illegal immigrants, they won't get Medicaid anymore. All of you guys can literally suck fuck, okay? He is cutting drug prices. This is one of the largest costs of healthcare in the country. It really is. And you know how? By actually having the balls to fight with fucking other countries and not dealing with their bullshit. Oh my God.
Practices. Americans are demanding lower drug prices and they need them today. Other nations have been freeloading on U.S. innovation for far too long, and it is time they pay their fair share. I look forward to your binding commitments to each of these goals by September 29th, 2025, and my team stands ready to assist with implementation questions. Thank you for your immediate attention to this.
Oh my God, but Bernie Sanders, what's Bernie Sanders gonna do? I just remembered actually something that's totally not controversial at all. Oh my God, dude. I totally forgot about the fact that Bernie Sanders made $1 million off Big Pharma. Oh, 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 my bad. I forgot that it turns out Bernie Sanders is the #1 person to have been paid out by Big Pharma. Oh, the socialist that wants everyone to have free healthcare. He wants everyone to have free healthcare and endless healthcare. Oh, that's nice, but he made millions off Big Pharma? Interesting and weird, interesting and weird. Apparently, he got $23 million of campaigning from pharmaceutical companies. Pretty weird, guys. Pretty weird. Like, do you understand what we're dealing with? We're dealing with corrupt fucks that are emotionally manipulating the people in America to think that this is happening. All right? If this happens, that drug prices drop because of Trump, this would be the #1 best thing that could possibly happen for healthcare in the country. And people don't talk about it. It's literally not in the fucking news. It's not even in the news, bro. Not even in the news.
Vital national priority. Signed, President Donald J. Trump. Again, to the CEO.
And that's his signature.
This letter,
kind of looks like pubic hair, doesn't it?
in its form, has been designed for each of the 17 major drug and pharmaceutical companies in the United States, and we're happy to provide you the full list. And I believe you will see all 17 letters popping on Truth Social very shortly, so you can look out for those, and I'm happy to take any further questions.
Yeah, fuck you, media. Honestly, I'm the media now. I can't stand these assholes.
Before we get to questions, I do have one other announcement from the White House and from the President. We are proud to announce that the construction of the new White House ballroom will begin. For 150 years, presidents, administrations, and White House staff have longed for a large event space on the White House complex that can hold substantially more guests than currently allowed. President Trump has expressed his commitment to solving this problem on behalf of future administrations and the American people. The White House is one of the most beautiful and historic buildings in the world. Yet the White House is currently unable to host major functions, honoring world leaders in other countries without having to install a large and unsightly tent approximately 100 yards away from the main building's entrance. The White House State Ballroom will be a much-needed and exquisite addition of approximately 90,000 total square feet of innately designed and carefully crafted space with a seated capacity of 650 people, which is a significant increase from the 200-person seated capacity in the East Room of the White House. In recent weeks, President Trump has held several meetings with members of the White House staff, the National Park Service, the White House Military Office, and the United States Secret Service to discuss design features and planning. President Trump has chosen McCreary Architects as the lead architect, which is well known for their classical architectural design and based right here in our nation's capital. The construction team will be headed by Clark Construction, and the engineering team will be led by AECOM. The project will begin in September 2025, and it is expected to be completed long before the end of President Trump's term.
All right.
President Trump and other donors have generously committed to donating the funds necessary to build this approximately $200 million structure.
Very nice.
The United States Secret Service will provide the necessary security enhancements and modifications. The White House ballroom will be substantially separated from the main building of the White House, but at the same time, its theme and architectural heritage will be almost identical. The site of the new ballroom will be where the small, heavily changed and reconstructed East Wing currently sits. The East Wing was constructed in 1902 and has been renovated and changed many times, with a second story added.
Look, man, don't get me wrong. I appreciate some nice architecture and shit, but I'm here to see reporters getting slaughtered on the timeline.
In 1942. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles has provided the following statement. President Trump is a builder at heart and has an extraordinary eye for detail. The President and the Trump White House are fully committed to working with the appropriate organizations to preserve the special history of the White House while building a beautiful ballroom that can be enjoyed by future administrations and generations of Americans. The White House will continue to provide all of you in the press with updates on this project at whitehouse.gov/visit. And if you go there shortly, you will be able to see renderings and visuals of what this ballroom will look like, both the exterior and the interior. I have provided some photos for all of you in the room today.
Very nice.
This is the interior of the ballroom space.
That does look nice.
It's quite beautiful.
Quite beautiful.
And then this is the exterior of the ballroom space.
Nice,
as you can come off of the executive mansion today, and the East Wing will be modernized and renovated. We're happy to answer any further questions on that, Jennifer. Since you're
Let's go. Slaughter the press.
I will go to you, but first, as always, I want to start with our new media seat, Ben Weingarten. Why don't you go ahead, Ben?
Thank you. In light of the release, the declassification of the annex to the Durham report today, beyond any potential prosecutions,
Yes. Put Hillary in jail. Put Hillary in jail.
the outcomes of which will likely be uncertain.
For those of you that are unaware of what he's referring to, that there was recently a report that was released that Hillary Clinton knew and authorized the campaign to slander Trump as being a Russian agent so that she could try to steal the fucking country. This is a big deal. Yes, it is. Evidence. There were burn bags of evidence that was supposed to be destroyed that Kash Patel found that they didn't destroy by accident, allegedly, that proves for a fact that she knew about it and still tried to push the Russia hoax. This is stealing the country. So essentially what this individual over here is asking is there going to be prosecution? Fuck, please let there be prosecution.
What does the president believe justice for Russiagate ought to entail?
Jail.
Might include restitution for
Jail.
those lives were upended as a consequence of Russiagate and perhaps a major reorganization of the national security apparatus.
I'll be real. My response, watch Game of Thrones. All right, watch Game of Thrones, and after you watch Game of Thrones, come up with something creative. All right, that's what I have to say. Heads on pikes, that's pretty boring. Obviously, there's like, you know, hanging people in the middle of the town square, having people walk through the city naked. Like, there's some good shit in there. Like, watch Game of Thrones, come up with something really fucked up. That's what I want. All right, that's what I want.
Well, I think a major organization of the national security apparatus, at least here at the White House within the National Security Council, has indeed taken place, and the president entrusts his current CIA director, John Ratcliffe, and our ODNI director, Tulsi Gabbard, to make the necessary changes to ensure classified intelligence, especially that could implement or hurt the national security of our country, does not make its way into the hands of irresponsible actors who want to politicize that intelligence for their own end. Since you brought up the declassification report that was put out by Senator Grassley today, I'm glad you brought it up because this should be a story every outlet.
This should be the #1 story in America right now. It really should. Like, Everyone only keeps saying, every time I mention this, I get someone in my chat or in my comments or somewhere saying, oh my God, you are literally distracting from Epstein. I say this with love in my heart. You are able to think of 2 things at the same time. I made 4 videos on Epstein. And with all due respect, and I know that this is going to get me a lot of pushback, I'm going to get a lot of pushback for what I'm about to say. As it stands right now, with the evidence we actually have, this is worse than Epstein. All right? It's likely part of Epstein. All right? It's likely part of the Epstein situation, but with the evidence that we actually have, this is worse than Trump's involvement with Epstein. Obviously not with the Epstein fucking child rape scandal altogether. That's disastrous. And again, every person that out there fucked a kid, kill them. Literally, penis guillotine, wood chipper those motherfuckers. That's what I think. But as it stands right now, there's no evidence that Trump did any of that. There really isn't. I agree he was lying to us, but this is verified. It is verified he tried to steal the country, Obama and Clinton. Verified treason is so much more damning, in my opinion, than unverified speculation.
In this room should be covering.
Even if
this
it's
is evidence that Hillary Clinton approved the Russia hoax against President Trump. Her campaign financed it. Again, she approved it. And the FBI and the CIA were weaponized to, as our director of CIA has said, accelerate this hoax against then candidate and former President Trump. To answer the heart of your question, the president wants to see justice served, and he trusts the Attorney General and the Department of Justice
God, stop!
Implement that justice and hold these people accountable.
One more question.
Okay, look, man, hold accountable. We need jail. We need fucking jail. We absolutely need jail. If you can't arrest the powerful people, then no, not everyone is equal under the law. I'm sorry, it's not true. It is not true. You can't say that we have a legal system that actually holds people accountable when they commit crimes when you do not arrest the biggest criminals in the country just because they happen to be rich and powerful. Fuck this shit, man. We cannot keep living in a country where the powerful people get away with this. We can't. There needs to be consequences. Honestly, drain the swamp, bro. Bro, if they're not going to jail, then you are the swamp.
Briefly, if I may, on a totally different topic. There's been legislation reintroduced in the House and Senate on designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist. The Muslim Brotherhood is considered by many to be the fountainhead of Sunni Islamic supremacism, which Hamas and other groups have spawned, with a nexus to domestic organizations as well. Does the president support designating the Muslim Brotherhood as a terrorist organization?
It's a big question. That's a big question.
Frankly, I'm not sure because I haven't talked to him, and I would
See, the issue is, I think that the Muslim Brotherhood being considered a terrorist organization is a very logical thing. However, the Muslim Brotherhood sends a lot of fucking money to America. Like they fund shit, you know? Like they're...
Never want to get ahead of the National Security Council on specific designations. It sounds like something this administration would support, but we can get a firm answer for you. How's that?
All right, we'll see.
Thanks for being here. Jennifer, go ahead. Eager beaver today.
How much of the East Wing will be torn down? The entire East Wing or just parts of it?
So the East Wing is going to be modernized. The necessary construction will take place. And for those who are housed in the East Wing, including the Office of the First Lady, the White House Military Office, the White House Visitors Offices, those offices will be temporarily relocated while the East Wing is being modernized.
And then on Israel-Gaza, there are some reports that negotiations with Hamas might not be continuing. Did you get any updates from Steve Witkoff on that?
I did. Special Envoy Witkoff is actively talking with our counterparts in Israel about that, and he wants to give some grace to the president so he can fully brief the president on what he's learning on the ground in both Israel and Gaza. But the president put out a very strong statement on Truth Social this morning, which
And he's so right.
I'm sure you saw, and he
He's
said
so
the
right.
quickest way to end this entire conflict, the humanitarian
Dude,
crisis
Trump
that
has
we
been
see.
on fucking point. He really has. Like, he's been on, aside from the Epstein thing, which has been an absolute disaster, he's been on point.
And the crisis in Israel that, of course, started on October 7th when Hamas brutally kidnapped and raped innocent Israelis. That terrible terrorist attack is for Hamas to surrender, to release all of the hostages, and to end this conflict. And that's what the president wants to see. He's made that very clear. But the special envoy will be in Gaza tomorrow, as I shared with you previously.
Yeah, so for those of you that want to see the tweet, this is the tweet, and he's just completely right. The fastest way to end the humanitarian crisis in Gaza is for Hamas to surrender and release the hostages, and he's just completely right. Like, he's just completely correct. Not even remotely close to anything. There's no other take. Any other opinion is wrong. Any other opinion is wrong, in my opinion. In my opinion, if you have a different opinion, you're wrong. This could absolutely end it immediately, but surprise, the terrorists don't want to surrender, and they don't care about their civilians. The ultimate people that don't care about the Gazans are the Hamas terrorists that are literally doing this shit. Like, you don't understand the level of insanity we're dealing with, bro. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Unreal.
Josh.
Can you give us a little more clarity on the tariff timing? You said that the reciprocals will take effect tomorrow.
Yes.
Does that include the new auto rates, for instance, on Japan, Korea, the EU? Is this all coming effective tomorrow?
So some of the countries you just mentioned, Japan, South Korea, they have bespoke trade deals that the president cut, which, just to backtrack for a second, Josh, we promised that the president would negotiate with countries all around the world to cut tailor-made trade deals depending on those countries' challenges, how badly they've ripped off the United States of America and our manufacturing industry and our workforce in the past. And he has done that. Of our 18 major trading partners, 2/3 of those trading partners have a deal. We've sent out 17 letters to countries around the world. And the rest of those countries that either do not have a deal or have a letter, they will be hearing from this administration by the midnight deadline tonight. So yes, tomorrow, August 1st, the reciprocal rates will be going into effect.
Oh, shit.
If more deals are cut between now and midnight, we'll never count out the president. You've seen him do it before. He cut 3
my
deals
god,
in one
listen,
day,
always
very
open to a
recently.
deal.
So we'll
never say no. I'm always listening. Always listening.
We'll see what happens. I do know
my
foreign
God.
leaders are ringing his phone, realizing this deadline is a real thing for them tomorrow, and they're bringing offers to the table.
We're reporting that the president wants to meet David Solomon of Goldman Sachs today. Can you say what they'll discuss, if anything, in that meeting?
I won't discuss the president's private meetings from this podium, and it hasn't taken place yet unless he gives me liberty to do so.
You talked with the president about his position on the stock trading ban bill before Congress. He obviously had pretty loaded comments about Senator Hawley. There's some reporting that they've since spoken. What is his position on the current status of that bill?
The president has spoken to Senator Hawley, who called him, and the president took that call. As the president said in the Roosevelt Room yesterday, conceptually, he of course supports the idea of ensuring that members of Congress and United States senators who are here for public service cannot enrich themselves. And the reason that this idea to put a ban on stock trading for members of Congress is even a thing is because of Nancy Pelosi. I mean, she is rightfully criticized because she makes, I think, $174,000 a year.
Fucking cook, lady!
Yet she has a net worth of approximately $413 million.
Yeah, how is it that on a salary of $100K a year, all right, let me get this straight. You have a salary of $100,000 a year, and you're worth $400 million? Come on, dude. Come the fuck on. Absolutely. I think all these people need to get flambéed. They really do. These are bad guys, okay? These are people that are committing crimes, in my opinion. they need to be held accountable because the math is not mathing, guys. They need to be held accountable. It doesn't matter if she's 400 years old.
In 2024, Nancy Pelosi's stock portfolio, this was a fascinating statistic.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so can I give you some, I'm going to tell you something crazy. All right, this is some inner Jew opinions. All right, I'm about to let you in on the Jew secrets. All right, one of my investment strategies, all right, because of course you have to invest your money. One of my investment strategies, you ready, is I just pay attention to what Nancy Pelosi invests in, even if it makes no sense logically, because it means that it's more likely than not that there's insider trading going on, and she's probably involved somehow, knowing about some future law that's going to pass that's going to help the stock. It turns out Pelosi finished 2024 up 54% in stocks. Now, understand, the stock market in a whole went up by 12%. She beat the stock market by 42%, okay? You don't understand how insane this is, okay? This is better than Warren Buffett. Yeah, so anyway, this is the mood in DC, all right? Because apparently senators struck a deal to ban congressional stock trading, which they absolutely should have done forever ago. They absolutely should have done this. These senators have inside information on what laws are going to pass, so they obviously know exactly what companies are going to do well. So it's all insider trading. So they're doing this, and obviously this is the mood in DC now that they're banning people from doing this shit.
Statistic to me grew 70%
Bro.
in 1 year in 2024,
Bro.
and her portfolio outperformed every single large hedge fund in that same year, and even more than doubled the returns of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway.
That's crazy. That's insane. Like, how is this not fraud? They need to go to jail for this. Like, dude, you don't understand. I miss a fucking penny on my taxes, and the IRS is crawling up my asshole. And these people are literally using our country as a fleshlight and getting away with it.
So I think the president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi
Based.
enriching themselves off of public
Based.
service and ripping off their constituents in
Based.
the process.
True.
As for the mechanics of the legislation,
them.
how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our friends on Capitol Hill. In a new seat today.
Thanks, Caroline. I wanted to ask about this report that the president wants to host a G20 meeting at Trump Durham. How is he going to do that, considering all the preparations that have been going on in South Africa? And also, would that be seen as his businesses possibly profiting from hosting this kind of meeting?
I would reject that premise entirely. We have announcements
Disgusting.
and details forthcoming on the G20, but my understanding is no firm announcement is ready to be made at this time. I did see the
Disgusting.
report, but we're not in a place to confirm it just yet.
Dude, I hate these people so much. Their questions are so bad.
On the tariffs, what are the logistics for imposing those? Does the president have to sign an executive order tonight? What's the timing on that?
Yes, and he will be signing an executive order at some point this afternoon or later this evening. And as always, we'll keep you posted when that
All right.
happens, and it will be released from our office.
And there's some of these countries that have they all had contact with U.S. officials, or are there some countries that are going to get letters that have had no opportunity to negotiate with?
Well, there's a lot of countries that I know have reached out. I believe it's upwards of 200 countries around the world have reached out to the trade and tariff team. Of course, as I said previously and the president said, we're going to prioritize our key trading partners, which we have done. Like I said, of the 18, 2/3 of those we have cut these tailor-made deals with. But I do know that the trade team has been working around the clock to try to be in correspondence with as many countries as possible. But if they haven't heard from us yet, they will in the form of a letter or an executive order by midnight tonight. We'll go to the back. Sure, go ahead.
All right.
In the back.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I have asked about the
Amanda, you can go out.
U.S. and South Korea tariff negotiations. At the tariff negotiations, South Korea and the United States concluded yesterday. President Trump stated on his SNS, Truth Social, that he would announce the specific details of the investment in the United States at the South Korea United States Summit in 2 weeks.
All right.
My question is,
Korea.
is tariff negotiation a final agreement, or is further negotiation
Bro,
necessary?
why does everyone ask this
Yes,
question?
as you know, the president.
Why does everyone do this? It's like when he makes a deal, is it final and he's never ever gonna come back on the deal? Is it never gonna happen literally ever? Or like perhaps not the case? Dog, stop, please stop. Obviously, if they give him a good deal, he's gonna take it. That's business.
Met with representatives of the Republic of South Korea Korea here at the White House yesterday, and they did in fact reach a deal. And South Korea will pay a 15% tariff rate, including 15% on autos, while providing historic market access to American goods like autos and rice. Korea will purchase $100 billion in American energy by 2028. And the centerpiece of this deal is that South Korea has agreed to invest $350 billion at the president's direction to revitalize American industry.
Oh my God, why is Korea spending money to revitalize American industry? Oh, it's because of tariffs and because they don't want to build things other places and import them. Oh, wow. It turns out it's correct.
90% of those profits will go to the United States government to help pay down our debt and for other matters.
It's literally that simple,
so
man.
It was a very successful meeting yesterday.
When is set up the further U.S.-South Korea summit day?
I'll get you something on that. I don't have it at my fingertips. Okay, Amanda.
Thank you, Caroline. There are a number of congressional Republicans who have raised the alarm about the fact that roughly 80% of pharmaceuticals are either manufactured or their precursors are manufactured in either China or India. There are some pieces of legislation, some recommendations, which include either onshoring, nearshoring, or friendshoring, those components of that. Do you know if the president intends to throw the weight of the executive behind that?
I don't have any updates for you at this time. I do have an update on our EU trade deal. I stand corrected. It's not $60 billion in investments. It's $600 billion in investments. I want to make that very clear.
Oopsie poopsie, our bad, guys. Oops, what? Remember what? Oopsie. The numbers are so fucking big, no one can even keep track of them anymore.
I personally watched the president behind closed doors with the European president in Scotland negotiating this deal. And he got the most juice out of that squeeze that he could, and he was constantly looking out for America's interests. So I just wanted to clarify that one point. Deanna.
Thanks, Caroline. For the countries that don't have a deal yet, should we be looking at the April 2nd chart at all? Or is he negotiating and talking about having a set tariff rate, 10%, 20%?
Those discussions are taking place with the trade team today, and again, we'll provide further guidance with that executive order once it is signed, and the answer to that question will be in that executive order.
Is he looking to provide any more extensions today after, his phone call with Mexico? Is there any other conversations like that?
I do know that other foreign leaders around the world have reached out, and if the president decides to share the conclusions of those calls with all of you, he will do so himself. But I do want to reiterate what the president said about Mexico. Mexico is still paying tariffs. They're paying a 25% tariff on fentanyl, 25% tariff on cars, a 50% tariff on steel, aluminum, and copper. And additionally, Mexico has agreed to immediately terminate its non-tariff trade barriers, of which there are many. And as the
because a lot of people don't know this either. Because, again, I'm sorry I'm getting all salty. I'm getting all freaking salty on the asses of the retards in my comment section sometimes. They're like, our allies, guys. How can Trump do this to our allies? Our allies have restrictions on us where they don't let us sell shit in their countries because it destroys their economy. So our allies are doing a really bad thing about that. All right, in my opinion. So that's our allies, all right? Our allies don't let us sell things there so that they can sell their own things to their people so that they can help their economy while taking advantage of ours. That's what our allies do, all right? I'm really glad that we're all on the same page here on what our allies are doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They're doing what's best for their country, and let them, okay? I want this to be clear. I think that every country needs to do what's best for our country. Every country needs to do what's best for their own country. They really do. And if it's best for Mexico to not allow certain American products into Mexico because they want to sell their own shit, no problem, Mexico. Power to you, absolutely. But fuck you if you think that we need to sell your shit in our country. Sorry. If you want to sell your shit in our country, well then let's make it even and sell our shit in your country. Because you need us a lot more than we need you. So I had enough of this emotional blackmail bullshit. Get the fuck out with that.
The president said we will continue to talk to Mexico over the next 90 days with the goal of signing a larger trade deal.
Mexico!
The key to this, again, is Mexico has agreed to terminate those non-tariff barriers and to continue to work with us in good faith. Mexico is a very unique situation of all the other countries around the world because, of course, we share...
He's like cooking them so hard. There is no... The media doesn't even have anything to say anymore. Did they just give up on pushing hoaxes? Like... Dude, they have nothing.
Southern border with Mexico, which we've seen an increase in cooperation between Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum and our administration on clamping down on drug trafficking and human trafficking at the southern border. We have efforts and will continue to work in good.
I love how only because of, okay, you have to realize because of Trump Mexico's like, you know what? Fine, we won't drug traffic and human traffic. This was accepted years ago. This was like accepted? Like, did really the Biden administration just sit back and be like, you know what, guys? We don't mind if you sex traffic and human traffic and drug traffic. That's fine. We let you do that. That's fine. Okay. And then Trump walks in and that stops. Dude, the fact that people are like just constantly shitting on Trump because Trump bad while not acknowledging the metric tons of improvement that happened to this country, they are crazy and they need to stop being deluded.
Faith and to continue to have these trade discussions as well.
The syndrome is
thanks,
strong.
Caroline. Just clarifying of a previous question. President Trump has indicated he's been looking at either 15% or 20% baseline universal tariff. Has he landed on one of those yet?
I won't get ahead of the president on that baseline announcement.
And then secondly, what did Treasury Secretary Bassett mean yesterday when he called the new Trump accounts for newborns a, quote, backdoor to privatizing Social Security? Does the administration view this new Trump accounts as a way to, in the long term, perhaps privatize Social Security?
What the Secretary of Treasury was saying and what this administration believes is that these Trump newborn accounts, which is an incredibly creative and great provision that was in the One Big Beautiful Bill for newborn babies and families and future generations of Americans, will help supplement, not substitute, Social Security. The
Caring about future generations of America, that doesn't sound like our favorite liberal value. Am I right?
Administration is wholeheartedly committed to protecting Social Security. The president did it in his first term. He's doing it again in this term. But these newborn accounts are another revenue stream for young people to watch their money grow throughout their lives and to one day be able to access those funds so they can hopefully build a home and live the American dream. Jake.
Nice.
I want to follow up on tariffs and
Love
whatnot.
that.
Is the president at all considering extending the August 12th China deadline at all? Is that in consideration?
So look, on China, you heard from the president on Air Force One when we were returning from Scotland. You've heard from the Treasury Secretary as well, Ambassador Jameson Greer. They just spent 2 days in Geneva for their third round of talks with China. And the current policy, the current trade program that we have going with China right now as it stands will decrease our deficit by $5 billion this year. So we are moving in the right direction when it comes to China. And Secretary Bassett and Ambassador Greer continue to be in direct communication with our Chinese counterparts.
Is it as an extension on the table potentially from that August 12th deadline?
Any deal is possible, but give him something. Make a deal. Listen, man.
I don't think so, but I'll let the Secretary of Treasury speak on that because he's leading these negotiations.
Yeah.
Reagan, go ahead.
Thanks, Caroline. There's growing frustration that more of Trump's nominees confirm. Why does the president think Senate Republicans are so behind, and has he had any further conversations with Leader Thune about it?
The president has had many conversations with his friends in the United States Senate about advancing his nominees, his judicial nominees through this process. It is critical that we get these good attorneys in these positions so that we can end the weaponization of justice, so we can have true law and order in our country. It's unfortunate the Democrats are playing political games, but the president has made it clear to Senate Republicans
No lies
they need
detected.
to do everything in their power to advance the president's nominees as well.
Get shit done.
Kelly, go ahead.
Caroline, thank you.
Dude, you gotta get shit done, man. You gotta absolutely just get shit done. Enough of this swampisms. Oh my god, guys, we need to make another vote for the 47th time on why we shouldn't release the Epstein files. It's like, what are these games we're playing, man?
2 questions real quickly.
Sure.
Nigeria, Congressman Chris Smith, Republican from New Jersey, is calling upon the President of the United States to do something in terms of imposing perhaps sanctions on Nigeria for the persecution of Christians living in the northern part of Nigeria by radical Islamists. Has he contacted the president yet?
Fuck yeah.
And do you know?
You gotta protect, I don't know, man. Fuck yes, 100%, 100%. I think that America, I know that America first does not mean America only, in my opinion, even though obviously I think America should be the priority. I think, if possible, America should stop the persecution of Christians around the world, absolutely, especially in specific radical Islamic countries. If we could do it without putting boots on the ground, absolutely. And it's crazy that no one talks about it. It's crazy that no one talks about it.
If there's any action that the president will take.
I'm not tracking a call between the president and the head of Nigeria. I know the president wholeheartedly condemns the persecution of Christians, or frankly of any faith all over the world. But I don't.
Like, this is such a nothing statement. The president condemns the persecution of random people. Damn. crazy.
Don't have any
Yeah,
updates
true.
for you in terms of sanctions in this part of the world.
Yeah.
My second question, Caroline, deals with immigration here in America. As you know, a lot of deportation has been going on. ICE has been going after violent criminals that are here illegally, and rightly so. In the midst of that, there are some evangelical pastors who are stating that it may have gone to a point of being indiscriminate and actually getting innocent people, like members of the clergy.
I can't stand when people do this. Show me one innocent person that was arrested by ICE and deported. Show me one. There is none. There is not a single innocent person ever deported by ICE. Ever. This is a gigantic lie hoax. Whenever someone says things are getting too far, it just means that the media uproar is big and a lot of shittards are yelling about it in the streets. They should not be taken into account. We have to stop making believe that the loudest voices somehow matter because they're louder. Like, dude, everyone yelling about Gaza, people starving, but no one yelling about Yemen, people starving. You have 5 times the amount of starvation and real starvation in Yemen. Like real starvation. 300,000 people starved in Yemen. Okay? I don't hear a peep about it. Not a word, not a protest, not a thing. There are, as far as I know, no verified deaths due to starvation in Gaza. Like, not more than 10 verified. All right. Again, it's a tragedy, and there is a humanitarian crisis for sure. There are people that are hungry, no doubt. But you cannot compare situations. But it doesn't matter because it's the loudest voice. So therefore, it's the thing that people care about. And just like the ICE raids, the ICE raids is insane. Absolutely insanity that people are so upset about it. They're illegal in the country. Get them the fuck out. Oh my God. But it's indiscriminate. It's not indiscriminate. You are a liar. There is no indiscriminate ICE raids. Every single person deported was illegal in the country and they should not be here.
The president and has ICE looked at that to see how they can actually go after those violent criminals, but also make sure that members of the clergy are still not being deported?
Well, look,
well, if they're a member of the clergy and they're in the country illegally, they should be deported. Okay? And it doesn't matter who the fuck it is. If it's a rabbi that is illegal in America, he should get the fuck out of America. If it's a clergyman, if it's a rapist, if it's a pedophile, if it's a gang member, if it's the most wholesome man of all time, if he's illegal in the country, get the fuck out. That's my opinion. Literally. I don't understand. They're all criminals. Every single person in the country illegally is a criminal. There is no accidental deportation. If they are illegal in the country, they are a criminal.
Administration has always maintained the position that anyone who illegally crosses our nation's borders is subject to deportation. That's
correct. Get them the fuck out.
It's just the law of the land, and we must be a nation that enforces our laws. But the priority from ICE, of course, is to deport, detain, arrest, and remove.
Even if mistakes are made and they are legal, it should be easy to show their way back in. Guys, I want to make this clear because people don't know this because the press has been really good about lying about this and the emotional manipulation has been big, okay? Through all of these deportations, all right? Which, by the way, not enough. We need to deport a lot more people, all right? All right? I'm going to tell you the truth. They have not deported, even by accident, a single person that was legal in the country. Every single person that got deported was illegal in the United States, okay? Every one of them. There was not one mistake made where they deported a legal person in the country. Not one, okay? So this emotional blackmail bullshit is not working. It's not good. It does not work.
Violent illegal aliens and criminals from our country. And they have been doing that at the rate of thousands of illegal violent criminals every single week, especially in Democrat-run single cities where these illegal violent criminals have been given a safe haven and have essentially been immune from our nation's laws under the
that shit sucks. Get them out.
Previous administration. That's not happening anymore because
a country without borders is not a country. They need to get the fuck out. They do. And I'm not going to be emotionally blackmailed by people saying, Nux, you're treating them as less than human. No, I'm treating them like criminals.
Of this president and Secretary Nome in the Department of Homeland Security, and we are going to be a nation of laws. And as we've said repeatedly, if you came here illegally, you are subject to deportation. But the priority are those public safety threats that we must remove from our communities.
Agreed. I completely agree, 100%. And also, important to note, everyone is able to self-deport. Okay, every single person could self-deport. Every single one of them. They could all say, I am here illegally. I'd like to leave now, please. The government will buy them a plane ticket, and get them out themselves. Okay, they will not be deported. They will be able to leave themselves. So if they could self-deport themselves, but they don't, and they're here illegally, I have zero sympathy for them getting deported, no matter where they end up.
Thank you so much, Caroline. 2 questions. So what Hamas hardens its position and Israel provides aid? Do you have any new information on the hostages that need aid too?
Great question. There are people starving in Gaza, hostages, also people, civilians, and it's largely and mostly Hamas's fault.
Second question, we heard President Trump criticize President Macron and Prime Minister Starmer for their statement about recognizing a Palestinian state. What is the president's position on recognizing a Palestinian state, and will he recognize Israeli sovereignty in Judea and Samaria?
See, but that's another example, recognizing a Palestinian state, all right? Like, dude, Tibet was conquered by imperialist China. No one gives a fuck about people in Tibet that are trying so hard to survive out there, all right? Okay, put this into perspective. No one cares about those guys. No one cares about them. But they want to reward a terrorist organization for committing acts of terrorism.
I can answer both of those questions for you. On the second question about a Palestinian state, the president expressed his displeasure and his disagreement with the leaders of France, the United Kingdom, and...
Like, you also have to realize that they tried to do the two-state solution so many times. They tried so hard to give the Palestinians a state, but the Palestinians largely don't want a state, a two-state solution. They want an only Palestinian state. They want a river to the sea. They want to kill all the Jews in Israel. Not all the Palestinians, obviously, but the radical ones, like Hamas, for example, the terrorist organizations, that is what they want. Shit sucks, but that's life.
Canada. He feels as though that's rewarding Hamas at a time where Hamas is the true impediment to a ceasefire and to the release of all of the hostages. So to your first question, the president wants to see...
Hamas started the war, and they could end the war immediately. If they just surrendered and released the hostages, the war would end today, and the humanitarian aid would flow in, and everything would be great. All right, that shit would be awesome. That shit would be popping. So why the fuck are European leaders caving to retards protesting in their streets and saying, oh, yes, we will reward the Hamas terrorists. Let's go.
All of the hostages released. He cares deeply about this. He has met with many of the former hostages, many of the families of those who have loved ones who are still being held hostage in Gaza. I have met with them too. It is absolutely devastating what these poor people have been through, and the president is always thinking about them, and that's why he's designated his special envoy, Steve Witkoff, who's doing a tremendous job to release the hostages and to end this conflict. But the president has always said the last remaining hostages, now there are 20 living hostages in Gaza, will always be the hardest because Hamas is unfortunately using these innocent people as bargaining chips. But nevertheless, we are committed to seeing this come to an end. Elizabeth.
Thanks, Caroline. Part of the settlement with Brown prohibits it from performing transgender procedures or prescribing hormone puberty blockers, that type of thing. Will eliminating these types of procedures be a priority for the Trump administration in negotiations with other universities?
I can tell you.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Stop castrating children, you fucks.
That ending the chemical castration of children in our country is a priority of this administration. We've talked to many of these universities about it, but the president has also taken very strong action to cut off the funding for any medical institution in this country that provides those barbaric procedures. At the Brown University,
100%.
Since you brought it up, is yet another win to root out anti-Semitic behavior on our nation's college campuses and unlawful racial discrimination. Brown has agreed to no longer allow unlawful racial discrimination in admissions or university programming. They have agreed to provide access to all relevant data and information to rigorously assess compliance with its commitment to merit-based admissions, and they will pay $50 million over 10 years to state workforce development organizations that comply with anti-discrimination laws, supporting regional economic growth and career opportunities. Brown will also adopt the definitions of male and female from President Trump's executive order.
Oh my God, what a gigantic W, man. We're fucking cooking. We're so back. We're so back. We're so back. Oh my God, we're swell. We've beaten Wikipedia, guys. We've defeated Wikipedia. All right. For the record, if you look up woman on Wikipedia, it says, which you'd think is, you know, a definition. Woman on Wikipedia, typically women are of the female sex. Ah, I see. So this is where we're going with it. I see. You know, like, bro, I'm so happy, man.
Women in gender ideology extremism for women's sports, programming, facilities, and housing. Brown will no longer perform gender reassignment surgeries on minors or prescribe them sex hormones.
Yes, sir.
And Brown will take steps to improve the campus climate for Jewish students and combat anti-Semitism on their campus. There's
a lot of anti-Semitism out there. And I don't mean the fake anti-Semitism that people keep yelling and screaming about on the internet, because there's so much fake anti-Semitism. I just mean like actual like Jews getting beaten up and stabbed and shit. Like, which happens like way more than it's ever happened before in America. That's crazy. That's real anti-Semitism. I'm not talking about the cringe internet thing where someone criticizes a Jew somewhere and then they lose their shit.
Yet another huge win for American students and for those who love our country and want to abide by our country's laws. On the topic of defending women from gender ideology extremism and helping women's sports, the president will be signing an executive order at 4 o'clock today with some very famous professional athletes whom I'm sure you all know. And that executive order will be focused on strengthening athletics in our country and making America healthy again. And we are going to...
No more fat people, baby. We are removing fat people from the gene pool. No, I'm kidding. They were doing that themselves.
Re-implement the presidential fitness test in America's schools, which is, I think, something all Americans can get behind.
No
so you'll hear from the president in 2 hours, and we will see you all there.
Make America way less. Give Americans less chins. Yarp, baby. Definitely subscribe. The drama never ends. I'm here every day. 2 videos a day. Shit's popping. We cooking. Things are great. See you in the next one. That was fun. I'll see you in the next one, gamers. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.